Welcome back, students. Welcome to biology classes. Today we are going to see 10 science biology and we are going to see the further topics of chapter number 8, right? We have already seen the introductory part in the previous video, and yet in this video we are going to see about the sexual reproduction in detail. So in the sexual reproduction, when reproduction takes place as a result of fusion of two gametes, one from each parent, and this is called sexual reproduction. So what exactly a sexual reproduction is? So whenever the gametes are there, right? The two different gametes from the two different parents are taken, and then they are going for the fusion, right? So the fusion of two different gametes, and those two of the gametes are from different parents, right? That is, one parent is different and second parent is different. That type of reproduction is known as sexual reproduction. So in short, the reproduction which takes place in presence of the gametes, right? That is known as what? The sexual reproduction. And this two of the gametes will be from different parent, right? That is, one from another parent and second one will be of the another parent. Next is the process of fusion of male and female gametes is called fertilization. Okay, so here when we are talking about the fertilization, it is a process where the fusion of the male and female gametes occur. So the fusion of the male and the female gametes is when taking place, the process which is through which it is occurring, that is known as fertilization. Next is the formation of gametes involve exchange of chromosomal or the genetic fragments between homologous chromosomes, which is going to cause genetic recombination, which leads to variation. So here what happened? The different gametes are formed, and these gametes, they involve what is happening? The gametes which are being forming, this all of the gametes, they involve what? The exchange of chromosomal fragments. That means the inheritance which is observed, that is the passing of the characteristics from one generation to the next generation, right? So it involves what? The exchange of the chromosomal fragments, or we can say the genetic fragments. That means the genes is passed from the parent to the progenies, right? And this takes place between the homologous chromosomes, which is going to cause the genetic recombination. So this particular fragments, they have been formed, right, between the homologous chromosomes. Homo means same. So whichever chromosomes are same, right, the exchange takes place between those homologous chromosomes, and this leads to the causing of the genetic recombination. That means the genes are being recombined, and this is when taking place, what happens? The variations, that is the diversity, is observed. For this reason, we all are different from each other, right? In our body, 99% of the DNA, right, 99.9% DNA is exactly same, but only 0.1% DNA is different, and for this reason, we all are different from each other, right? Next is, now first we are going to see about the sexual reproduction in the plants, and then after we are going to see in the humans. Today we are going to focus on the sexual reproduction which is observed in the plants. So first of all, to understand the sexual reproduction in plants, first we need to know is what are the organs of the plants, right? Which are the main parts of the flower, right? So first of all, flower is said to be the reproductive unit of the plant. So without flower, the reproduction is not possible. So whichever flowers or whichever plant which is containing flowers, those all plants are said to be the flowering plants. Why? Because they are having what? Flowers, right? Now, when they do possess the flowers, what they are going for? They are going for the sexual reproduction. So flower, whenever flower is present, it depicts that the particular sexual reproduction is going to take place in that particular plant, right? Now, in this flower, you see the first main, starting from the base, right? See this green colored portion where I'm showing the cursor. This are said to be the sepals, right? That is, they gave the support to the developing other flower, like the base or the other parts of the flower. Apart to this, the coloring, the reddish colored petals, right? Those are said to be the petals, right? And they are very fluorescent in color in order to attract the birds as well as the insects, right? And why they are attracting the birds or insects, right? In order to carry out the process of pollination, right? So the pollination takes place with the help of the insects as well as some birds, right? And this takes place while they are sitting on this flower, and the gametes, the pollen grains, they are sticking onto the legs of those insects and birds, right? And then when they pass to the another flower, they settled over there and the fusion takes place. So here what happens next is there is will be presence of the two different types. Maybe a flower can be said to be a bisexual. If it is bisexual, that means the male as well as the female, it is present in one single flower, right? So male and female, if present are present in one flower, then that particular flower is said to be the bisexual flower. And if a flower is just containing the male organs, then it is said to be unisexual. Same way, if it is containing only the female organs, then it is known as the unisexual. So when it is separately present, then they are known as unisexual flowers. And when both, that is male as well as female, if this both of them are present in one flower, then it is known as bisexual flower. Now, when we are talking about the male and female organs, the female organ is here, you can see that is pistil, right? So the pistil consists of three things. This is the region where I'm showing the cursor. This is the ovary, right? And an extension which is observed from this ovary, that is known as style. And at the top, a bean-like structure is observed, and this is said to be the stigma. So the pistil is consisting of the ovary plus style plus stigma, right? So this constitute the whole female reproductive organ. Same way, the male reproductive organ is been consisting or is consist of two things. First is the portion over here that is said to be the anther, which is present at the top, and there is extension of a filament like structure which is known as the filament. So stamen is equals to anther plus filament, right? So the four main parts of the plant or a typical flower, right, that is containing what? The four main whorls, that is calyx, that is sepals, corolla, that is petals, androecium means stamens, and gynoecium means carpels, or we can simply say as pistil, right? So another name of pistil is also carpel as well as gynoecium, right? So these are the four main basic structures or main parts of the flower. So you need to remember calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium, or the other names of it is sepals, petals, stamens, and carpels. In order with carpels, you can also write pistils, right? So the reproductive part of flower, it consists of two things, the male part and the female part, right? The male part is said to be the stamen, and the female part is said to be the carpel or pistil, right? This stamen is made up of two things. The first is filament, and at the top there will be presence of a anther, right? The meiosis or the meiotic division of anther takes place, and it produces haploid gametes which are known as pollen grains, right? So the pollen grains are said to be the male gametes, right? And this is being produced in the anther with the help of a reduction division which is known as meiosis, right? Same way, when we are talking about the female part, the female or the carpel or the pistil, it is made up of three things, right? Stigma, style, and ovary, right? And these three of things, or these three things, they combine to form the whole female part, right? And this ovary, it is going to form the egg cell, which is nothing but the ovule. So this ovule is again haploid in nature, right? And this egg cell, they are going to form what? The gametes, right? So this, just like the pollen grain, they were the male gametes. The egg cell is said to be the female gametes, right? So this is about the reproductive part of the flower. Now what happens? This pollen grains of a flower, they transfer to the stigma of the carpel of the same flower, right? That is self-pollination, right? Now see, if only one single flower is there and the pollen grains are transferring from the same flower to the stigma, that means if a particular flower is bisexual in nature, that is male as well as female, both are present in a single flower, then what happens? The pollen grains from the flower, it falls on the same carpel of the carpel of the same flower. That means in one single flower or in the same flower, the pollination is taking place. And as it is taking place in a single flower or a same flower, this type of pollination is known as self-pollination. That means in that particular flower or in the same flower, the exchange of the gametes is taking place, right? Second type of pollination is cross-pollination, where the pollen grains are being passed, or the pollen grains of the flower, they are being transferred to the stigma of carpel of another flower, right? If a plant is there and if the same flower, if the pollination is taking place in the same flower, that is known as self pollination. And if the pollination is taking place with a different flower or another flower, that is known as cross pollination, right? Now, this transfer of pollens is achieved by agents, right? Now, there are several agents which play very important role in transferring of the pollen grains, right? So, the agents which are coming under or which are responsible for transferring the pollens are wind, right? In the air currents, when the wind is blown, what happened? The pollen grains, they pass in the wind currents and they settle on some other flowers, right? Same way, the water also plays a very important role, right? The pollen grains fall into the water, all right, which are nearby to the river banks, right? Those trees, and the water, when the water is flowing from one region to the next region, what happens? The cross pollination chances increases, right? Several animals, that is honeybees, then house flies, right? Then another several, there are so many insects, as well as there are so many even birds also are there, which are responsible for transferring the pollen grains, right? Next is, after the pollination, what happens? A pollen tube is grown, right? So the pollen tube grows out of pollen grains, through which male germ cell reaches the ovary and fuses with the female germ cell. So here you can see in this figure, right? These are the, at the top where I'm showing the cursor, right? They are pollen grains. From this pollen grains, they are developing a tube-like structure, right? And this is said to be the pollen tube. And in this pollen tube, the male gametes, they are going to transfer, right? So two male gametes, they are going to transfer in this, right? And this can be transferred only in the presence of this pollen tube. There is no other additional passage which is observed, right? So the pollen grains, they develop a pollen tube, and this pollen tube opens into the egg, right? So the eggs, it is attached with the egg cell. So what happens? This pollen tube, it extends from the pollen grain, or we can say at the top of the stigma. From this region, it extends till the egg cell, right? Next is the fertilization. So here what happens? The fusion of the male and female gamete is said to be the fertilization. And it occurs inside the ovary, and the zygote is produced in this process. So what here? See, you can see here, there is one additional, here a gamete is shown, right? This gamete is the male gamete, and this male gamete is been transferred, or it is been passed from the pollen grain. So the male gamete passes from this pollen grain, from this pollen tube, and it reaches to the egg cell. And in the egg cell, it enters inside, and here inside the egg cell, what happens? The fertilization takes place. That is the fusion of the male and the female gametes, right? And when the fusion takes place, this process is known as fertilization. And after the fertilization, upon the fusion of the male and the female gametes, a zygote is formed, right? Next is, the zygote divides several times to form an embryo within the ovule. Now what happens? This particular zygote, right? So whatever upon the fertilization, whatever zygote is formed, right? That is the fusion of the male as well as the female gamete, right? A zygote is formed. It is undergoing the division, that is the mitotic division as well as the meiotic division, right? So the zygote divides continuously, and the number of times it divides, the number of cells increases, and right, and when the number of cell increases, this zygote is going to form what? A specialized structure within the ovule, which is known as embryo. So the initial stages when the fertilization takes place, it is known as zygote. But after the development or after the division which is taking place of this zygote, it converts itself to one specialized structure within the ovule, which is known as embryo. Now this ovule develops a tough coat and is converted into a seed. Now what happens? The ovule, right? Now this embryo is developing inside the ovule, right? So this ovule, it is going to form a outer covering, and this covering is very tough in nature, or we can see it is not easily breakable. So what happens here? It produces or it develops a tough coating or surrounding the embryo, and this develops or it gets converted into the seed. So the outer ovary, it is going to form the fruit, and the inner seed is going to be formed from the ovule. So none other, let's take an example of the mango, right? Whatever part you are eating, that is the ovary structure, and whatever in the middle portion, whatever a seed is there, right, which you are discarding out, that is what the seed, right? So the ovary grows rapidly and ripens to form a fruit. So ovary is going to form the fruit, while the seed is being formed from the ovule, right? The seed contains the future plant or embryo which develops into seedling under suitable condition, and this process is known as germination. You know that in germination also, you might ask your mothers also what they do is in the daily basis at home, right? So what they do is, if they want to if there is presence, if you want to prepare the like let's take example of gram seeds, right? So if you soak them in the water, what happens? Till overnight you soak them in water, and next day you keep them in a cloth and just tie them. What happens? The sprouts are coming out, right? Those sprouted gram seeds, they are nothing but the germination which is taking place, right? So same way, the seeds which are going to contain the embryo or the future plants, they are going to develop what? The seedlings, right? That means the under suitable condition, they are going to develop themselves, and the process of this type of developing is known as germination, right? The flowers can also be unisexual, right? That is, either they are going to contain a stamen or a carpel, or maybe they are said to be bisexual. That means they are going to contain both of them, that is stamen as well as carpel. The examples of the unisexual flowers are papaya, watermelon, right? And the examples of the bisexual flowers is hibiscus as well as mustard. So these are the examples, and this can be asked in MCQ also, right? Would I give the example of unisexual flowers, right? Or which are the bisexual flowers among this, right? So this is all about the sexual reproduction which is taking place in the plants. I hope you are very clear with today's topic, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.